Sensation back at you. We're on the Bling 2 build. We got a problem with it. So I put it all together, all right? And everything was working fine. It tests fine. You boot it up, it works good. But man, this thing has some sleep issues like you've never seen. But here's the biggest issue. When you shut it off, you notice the power supply is still on, right? You got a BIOS light flashing back here. And if you look, the power light, the reset light is lit up on the board. That's because there's power feeding to the board, right? Watch what happens when I try to start it. Nothing. See that? And then I reach in here and hit the start button. Nothing. No fire up, right? That's not right. So watch this. Turn the switch off. Cycle it back on. Hit the power button. Fires right up. No problems. Goes through the postcodes just fine. You can see them up there. A0, and we will boot up and load into Windows. I have been scratching my head. I've been searching the internet, and I can't find nothing. So what I did find is if we let this thing go to sleep, the mouse won't work. Whatever's plugged into the USB, it'll kill that USB port on wake up. So when it goes to sleep, the mouse won't work, but if I unplug the mouse and put it in a different port, it'll light up and work. And I get a code 30 on the motherboard. So on the little indicator on the motherboard, I get a code 30. And that 30 indicates a sleep issue problem. So I'm going to shut this off. Just like you would normally on your computer, right? We're going to go in Windows. We're going to shut it down. Just shut it off dead. Okay, cycle's off fine. Now, let's try to refire it. There we go. It will not refire. I mean, you can press the switch till you're blue in the face. You can jump pins. You can do whatever you want. You can press the start button in here. And it will not start. But watch, if I turn that off, back on again, it fires right up. So we got a sleep issue with it, and we got the weird issue where you got to shut the power supply, you got to cycle the power supply off and back on in order to get it to power with the switch. So I have a theory, and this is after doing some reading and brainstorming some of my own issues with this stuff. I have come up with a theory that motherboard is grounded out somewhere and shorting out. So we're going to make sure we got all our pins in the right place. I've had this happen more than one time. So I had a case one time, it didn't matter what motherboard I put in it, it would ground out and short out and have weird issues. And it would either be weird issues with memory, it could be weird issues with SATA, hard drive, anything, right? So I've seen this happen more than once, and I'm going to go down this rabbit hole. As we're running here, I got a 40 on the motherboard, so I don't know if that's some kind of weird code or not, but I'm hoping this isn't a short in the motherboard, that it's actually the motherboard grounded out somewhere in the case, which is what I'm hoping. So we're going to shut this thing down. I'm going to pull the motherboard out of it because it seems like when we tested this without being in the case that everything worked and functioned properly. So that would mean our problems didn't arise until we bolted this thing in the case. And if that holds to be true, then we're going to pull it back out of the case and we're going to test it outside of the case again, leaving power on it, making sure that it cycles through, because if it doesn't, then we know it's a problem with the motherboard, right? But if it does power through and cycle through, then we got to find the case short. There's going to be a short in the case somewhere. So that's the way we're going to do it. I've even seen them short out back here on the IO shields. So you got to make sure everything is put in these things right. And most importantly, your standoffs are in the right position. And I usually double and triple check that. So I would be very, very surprised if the standoffs are in the wrong direction. But let me, I'm going to set you up on a different tripod where you can look down into this thing. And I need to charge a GoPro while I bought a brand new battery. And this pisses me off. This is from GoPro too. So this battery is called a GoPro Enduro. And I literally used it one cycle and I can't even get it to light up the GoPro anymore. So I'm going to get on to Amazon and let them know about it and see if I can ship this piece of crap back and possibly get another. But I bought the genuine GoPro brand. That's the best part about it. Used it one time, charged it, used it one time, and then recharged it supposedly, and now it won't even light my GoPro up. So go figure that out. I think I'm going to go ahead and order the charger for these so I'm not charging them in the GoPro anymore too. But let me get you set up on the tripod without further ado, on the shorter one up here on the bench. And let's tear this thing down and see if we actually have a pin in the wrong location or if there's some other type of problem with the motherboard. And I hate it. I mean, this was my $80 marketplace find just to go in this build. And I had this build already promised out to somebody. And I was hoping to get it out of here today. So we got to get busy here. But I'm going to do that next. The build come out nice. The computer works good when you turn it on and use it. But we have that weird issue. So let's flip this on its side. Let's get you guys set up on the tripod. And let's go to work on this thing. We'll do it together. How's that? Maybe you can comment. I should probably live stream this, honestly. But maybe you can comment down below if I can't figure this out and tell me what you think may or may not be going on with it, right? I mean, I'm lost. I've been down rabbit holes. I've unplugged everything from the motherboard because, you know, first off, you see me modify the power switch to work, so that was the first thing I unplugged. I unplugged the power switch to make sure that wasn't doing it. And sure enough, it wasn't. I suspected that it probably wasn't because all that power switch does is if you touch the two wires together, it grounds out the circuit and fires up the motherboard. That's all it does. I mean, it doesn't, you can put the wires any way you want. It does not matter. And there'll probably be somebody that argues with me on that, but I know I'm right. You don't need a positive or a ground for it because you're literally grounding the circuit out, and that's what's starting that's what you're shorting it. You're shorting the circuit, and that's firing the board up. But that is not working once we shut this thing down unless we cycle the power supply. That tells me that something in this board is still feeding power when it should be off, and that its off state is working more like a broken sleep state. That would be my guess, is that it's not triggering itself on because it thinks it's already on, right? That should probably do it though, but let's get the board out of here so we can test it, like I said, and we'll see if we can determine what the problem is, and if we can, let's get this thing fixed so we can get it sold. All right, we got you up here on a aerial view. No, I'm just kidding. You're just on the short tripod up on the thing. We're gonna go ahead and start tearing this thing down. I can adjust the camera a little bit better than that probably. So let's try that real quick. Move you up just a little bit. Maybe I'll make you a little bit taller too. I think maybe you're too short. There we go. All I had to do was crank you up a little bit. There's a hand crank on this thing and I turned it, and sure enough, you got taller. So look at that. You're all grown up now. No, I'm just kidding. That's a better camera angle though. I like it better. So let's try to rip these parts out of here violently. That way we break everything in the case. No, we'll just break half of the stuff in the case. The other thing, I was testing one of these USB-C to USB 2 things here, and let's just say that failed to work. So maybe it looks good aesthetically that you can put the cable in, but it still renders it useless. So don't go that route. I see other videos where they're like, oh, they make this cool adapter. Do those people actually test that after they put it in? That's what I want to know. Do you actually test that? Because I'm going to tell you right now, this one I bought based off another YouTube video is the definition of crap. All right, we're going to get this thing USB 3 unplugged, 24-pin ATX unplugged, and our 12-pin at the top. And I'm going to time-lapse you. We're going to get this motherboard out, set back up on a test bench, and we're going to try it again. Definition of insanity. What is it again? Doing the same things over and over and expecting different results. Alright, so that didn't take long, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully pull this up to see if there are any pins in the wrong place. So we know that we should have pin, pin, pin right in a row, pin, pin, pin right in a row on the bottom, and pin, pin, pin on the top. All right, we're going to go right after it here. I got it booted up right now. She's loaded in the Windows. We got our 1050 in it, and I'm going to make sure that the drivers are in for that, but it really doesn't matter, because we're just doing this for testing purposes. I wanted to make sure it would light up, and I don't have the power plugs on that power supply. Yep, GTX 1050, so we're good. Let's shut it down. So let's go full shutdown right here. All right, now that it's shut down, I'm looking at the lights here. Our BIOS light is flashing. We're lit up red here. The start button is still illuminated. Let's press the start button. Nothing. See that? So it was not a short in the case there's a problem with the board. So I have LED lights flashing on here. I do not have a number on the display. And we still have a problem. What in the world is causing this? If you have any idea, put it in the comment section. I have taken the NVMe drive out. I've tried different pieces and parts and doing different things. We literally have nothing but our 24-pin ATX, our 8-pin CPU hooked up, a 1050 graphics card in it, and an NVMe drive. That's it. That's the only things in this computer, and we're having that problem. I'm going to drop all but one stick of RAM out of this thing. I don't see a RAM issue causing this, just so you guys and gals know. I think that there's probably a short in the motherboard, would be my guess on this. You can tell me if you think differently on it, but I think that there's something in this motherboard with the sleep or whatever that's shorted out and not allowing this to work. So let's go ahead and put the power back to it again, and let's see if we light up with the one stick of RAM. I can look at the numbers flashing up here to see if it's going to light up, and it looks like it is. 66, 96, 62, 99, we're lighting up. So we're going to get into Windows again so we can shut it down. And this is Windows 10 and Windows 11 both. So I've tried both operating systems on this problem. What do we do in Bling 2 case now? We can't knowingly use a motherboard that has an issue. Or should we try reseating the CPU maybe? Do you think that would make a difference or not? I mean, we haven't tried it yet, but I wouldn't think that that would be the problem, right? I'm going to go look at some parts on Sunday that somebody has. Maybe I'll find a motherboard and processor in that deal. thought I was good on these motherboard and processors, but I'm not. I'm just down on them right now, and I'm a little bit aggravated. I just got to walk away from it, right? I mean, that's what you do when you get pissed off and aggravated. You just walk away. I've literally, I'm pulling all the rest of my 3 hairs. I'm just pulling them out because I cannot for the life of me figure out what is causing this problem. So I'm going to post this video, and if you know what's doing this, please let me know before I junk the board. I mean, I thought maybe that CPU cooler was pulling down too tight on the board and causing a flex or something in it. And we reseated the CPU. We went down to 1 stick of memory. We've got it out of the case. We don't have anything hooked up but what we absolutely have to have hooked up, and we're still having the same problem. So that's going to do it for this video. I'd like to say it was another great SimStation production, but SimStation's got a problem here. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. I want to thank each and every one of you for viewing this, and I will catch you on the very next SimStation production.